My name is Enrico Gennari. I'm the Director of Research at Ocean Research in Mossel Bay, South Africa.
Enrico, you've spent a lot of time working with white sharks. Are they the monsters that the movies make them out to be?
Working every day with white sharks, and white sharks represent to me in people's mind the iconic shark. Working with them every single day, I realize that those animals are top predators, definitely, like a lion. And you shouldn't walk close to a lion, expect that the lion sit there. However, we shouldn't be overly afraid of them. These are top predators that deserve respect, but they're not looking for people. They're not hunting for people. So we should just leave them where they are and enjoy them in the natural environment.
Why are white sharks so important?
White sharks, as sharks, most of the sharks in general, have being a top predator, so being at the top of the food chain, have this top-down control on their entire ecosystem by controlling that the healthy individuals can go ahead in life and removing the weak, and so they have a very important role to maintain balance in the ecosystem. You remove the sharks and you disturb that balance. So that's why we should keep them where they are for as long as we can.
What does shark conservation mean to you?
To me, shark conservation starts with understanding. You cannot conserve something you don't understand. You need to experience it, and you need to understand how it works, how it fits into the entire ecosystem. And that's what we're trying to do at Ocean Research. And then we want that our research results, our finding, can be used by conservationists to improve the management of shark fisheries, of the protection of white sharks in particular. So we want our research to be applied into conservation.
What do you think are the biggest threats that white sharks face?
One of the main threats related to white sharks is, to me, actually the not knowing the current situation of white sharks in terms of population, for example. Yes, they are protected, but most of the country protected the white shark as a precautionary measure. Like South Africa in 1991 was the first country to protect white sharks. Now, said that, we still, up to 2017, do not know how many white sharks are in Southern Africa. And that's why one of my main efforts of an ocean research and a collaborative effort among researchers all across Southern Africa is to come up in the next couple of years with a proper estimate of how many white sharks are in the water left. And then we can talk about whether, fisheries, whether how is impacting. We can talk about whether protection is still needed or not. And another main issue that I think threat to white shark is not a physical threat. Is people perception, your perception. How do we see white sharks? And documentaries, let's say most of the documentaries don't help in that. They mostly want to show a white shark as a threat with big teeth, hunting for people, searching for people. Instead, it's exactly the opposite. They have teeth, yes, but not for people. They're not made for people. We're not part of their diet. So we can conserve something that we either identify with, we love, or we understand the importance. Now, for sharks and white sharks in particular, we can't really identify ourselves with the sharks. That's happened, for example, with dolphin species. We can't fall in. It's difficult to fall in love with a white shark from people perspective. I can understand that. That can happen with panda bears. However, with white shark, what we need is to people understand the importance they have into the environment. And if we manage to change that perception into understanding the importance, that is where we can make the biggest contribution to the conservation of the species.
So are South Africa's white shark populations in trouble?
Recently, there's been a paper that said that basically there are only a few hundred, 300-400 white shark left in Southern Africa. Most of the South African research community and international community is actually discussing that funding has got some issues, biases in terms of the research approach, and that number could be true, but that paper, we're not convinced that that paper really can provide enough evidence for that. So what we're pushing now is to have one of my PhD students, in collaboration with lots of researchers around Southern Africa, to come up with the first regional population assessment of white shark. Now, that number could be true. There are only 300-400 individuals left. However, there's more indication that it seems that we're talking about a few thousand, which still is, I mean, in South Africa there's a huge outcry about few thousand black rhinos left in nature. I mean, 2,000 white shark would mean less white shark than black rhino, so there's still worry. However, we need to see into perspective. We need to provide the real and use the good information, sound research information, to really make a call in terms of what to do next.
What is so significant about the shark, Nicole, who was tagged in South Africa in 2003?
I wasn't involved in 2003 with the satellite tagging of white shark here in South Africa. That came out with the news all around the world of this white shark called Nicole that went from South Africa to Australia in less than 3 months, almost on a straight line, and then was spotted back in South Africa 6 months after. So I wasn't there. However, when I read that piece of news, I was astonished by the impact that he had on the people interest. It wasn't anymore again that fear of shark, but was starting to be an interest of, look at this animal, what it did, the fastest transoceanic migration ever recorded. And that was the tipping point for me. That is more the research that we need. Not necessarily putting more satellite tag, we still do it. However, we need to use the research to really change the perception of people in terms of what sharks are. And Nicole, to me, was the tipping point, that change where I started to see a change in people's perspective. And that was, to me, a great achievement by that research team.
How do you view shark ecotourism like scuba and cage diving?
Shark ecotourism, there's a lot of debate about it, pros and cons. And to me, like anything in life, I weigh the pros, I weigh the cons, and then I make a judgment. There are cons, that's for sure. I mean, we know the shark ecotourism in particular, when you provide some sort of food or use food to attract them, you can change a natural behavior. But is it that bad? For example, in the Durban, in South Africa, in Durban, there are ecotourism that brings shark to this Aliwal shoal, which is further offshore than the beach, and actually is moving shark away from the beach, where they could be caught in the shark bather protection nets inshore. So actually, yes, we're impacting the behavior. The black tip shark weren't supposed to be there in that shoal, but actually we making them away from potential people incidents, but also from removing them from the possibility of being caught in those nets. So overall, that I see as a good thing. There are actually quite a bit of rules related to cage diving, shark cage diving, and shark ecotourism. And I believe that if operators stick to the rules, and there are some, the pros, the benefits coming from this outrun are much bigger than the negative impact. And in particular, the main positive impact that shark ecotourism has is changing the people perception. And again, you look at those cages, when people come up, they all come up with a big smile. They're in ecstasy, assisting at the beauty of these animals swimming around them. There's no need to thrash a bait in front of the cage or get the animal too close to the cage. They just by looking at them swimming by, that is a great benefit for shark conservation.
Is there anything that everyone can do to aid in shark conservation?
What can you do for shark conservation? You can find your own way to get involved. There can be, if you want to become a researcher, move toward try to work with sharks. If you want to become a conservationist, there's plenty of shark conservation organization that work in that field. You can become part of the shark ecotourism that hinge on the fact that a shark is worth it much more alive than dead. Again, all these contribute to conservation of sharks. You can decide to be responsible when you buy certain seafood. Look and try to understand what kind of seafood you're buying, whether there's plenty of, again, organizations can advise you even with apps on your phone, what species are good, what species are not, how to recognize whether it's a shark or is not a shark. And so there are lots of ways that you can get involved. And if you are not sure, again, you can always come to Ocean Research, we can discuss about that. Another big contribution that I believe that people can do, even if they are far away from the ocean, there's no one in the area that can contribute to shark conservation, no organization, there's no research happening in the area, and you don't know what to do, you can still contribute using social media. That's a huge tool. Spread stories of other people. Show photo, not always with sharks and teeth, but actually maybe sharks swimming. That's a beautiful, there are plenty of photographers that are providing very good photos, and share it among your friends. Try to create a local school debate about sharks. That is where you will never know. Among those school children, that could be the next Minister of the Environment of your country. Maybe you're gonna provide a much bigger contribution to shark conservation than we do by just convincing that person about that kid about that importance of sharks. So there is always something. And social media is a huge platform in terms of that can empower you to do something about shark conservation.
Do you have any advice for budding shark conservationists?
The biggest advice I can give you is the same kind of advice that I try to apply to my own life. Follow your passion, follow your art, find where your art is, what you enjoy in doing it, and follow that. It might take years, sometimes decades. I mean, it took me almost 30 years to do the research that I always wanted to do. So, but if you follow your art, that is where you can contribute the most and the best to shark conservation. So, again, see where your passion is, and then start contacting people. Be not a pest, but ask questions, get in touch with people, disturb them, so that you can start to get into that field. And once you have your foot in it, then it's going to be very difficult to take it out. So then you are in, and then you can move ahead.
Great, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.